Welcome, Felicia Pizzonia here, your host of the HEARTCORE Hustle. When you hustle from the heart, it's not hard, and you do what spontaneously inspires you from within. And that's exactly what our next guest is doing, and I'm going to introduce her shortly. What I'd like to do this morning, and it's a beautiful Saturday morning on the 11th of July, on the 11th hour, a master number, is I would like everybody that's joining us for this beautiful conversation to be truly present, to give yourself the gift of presence. Don't multitask, don't listen while you're cooking. Please enjoy the conversation, take notes, and give yourself that gift, because this interview will truly change your life. And I wanted to thank our sponsor, the Ultimate Publishing House, as this episode has been brought to us by the Ultimate Publishing House, ultimatepublishinghouse.com. And I also wanted to thank Babes in Biz Network. We have our merchandise. So if you're looking to join an incredible network of women, check out babesinbusinessnetwork.com, based on one of my best-selling books, by the way. And so, without further ado, I'd like to introduce Grace Van Berkum. She is a plant-powered detox nutritionist with an incredible story. She's also a tropical yoga teacher, facilitating and empowering and inspiring, gracious living lifestyle retreats in Nicaragua and all over the world. Her mission in life is to spread the message of plant-based nutrition and self-love by teaching people how to eat and live with awareness. And Grace believes in the healing powers of nature and simplicity, and models her thriving business around the paramount importance of unadulterated fresh foods from the earth, connecting to nature and yoga lifestyle and so forth. So Grace has run and facilitated over 150 retreats, and she's all over the world. And she's also, helped heal her father's cancer, which we're going to talk about in this interview, and helped alleviate the symptoms of Alzheimer's. So we're going to be talking about a mixture of different things, including her journey. So without further ado, I welcome Grace Van Berkum from Nicaragua.
Hi, Felicia. Thank you for having me. It's great to be chatting with you this morning.
My pleasure. No, thank you, Grace. And, you're not just a special guest. You're a good friend of our family. And I thank you for joining us this morning. You're a great inspiration. And like the little prayer says on my wall here, it says, grace isn't a little prayer you say before receiving a meal, it's a way to live. And you truly carry your name that way. And wanted to say that we truly respect you and appreciate you being you and living your highest values.
Thank you.
So Grace, tell us a little bit about your journey and, how you started back in the day, being in the in the 90s into house music and being part of that scene that came with other things. But I'll let you share with us at your will what you can and what you wish to share. And I know it's full transparency here.
I mean, people always think that I've been healthy my whole life, and I've actually been unhealthy most of my life, and really started on the healing journey about 20 years ago. I was unhealthy as a young child. I grew up in an abusive household, and because of that, I was in and out of foster homes till the age of 10, because I was dealing with a lot of heavy stuff, abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse. To start, I developed addictions at a very young age as a way to numb myself and deal with what was happening. And that was kind of my survival skill as a young child. So my very first addiction was sugar addictions at the age of 4. And I used to drink a bottle of corn syrup in one sitting. I used to, I had this game with myself where I would take a bag of brown sugar and add water to it and eat brown sugar soup. And of course, at 4 years old, being a little kid, I would get, so high, get such a sugar rush And this was a game to me. And this is like my invisible force shield to withstand the abuse better. And as I got older, my sugar addictions turned to eating addiction. So overeating. And I would emotional eat at a very young age and overeat to numb my pain, which I think a lot of adults can relate to. From there, my overeating issues turned to bulimia. And I realized as a teenager that if I kept overeating all the time, I was going to balloon up. So I continued to overeat and emotional eat, but I just threw up my food. From there, my next addiction, drugs and alcohol, I turned to when I was in, the party scene and the music scene. And, it was a lot of fun. I'm not going to lie. But it just got to be too much. And I hit my rock bottom, not just once, but, twice and 3 times. And each rock bottom just gets worse and worse. And coming out of that rock bottom seems impossible at those times. So at a certain point, I realized that if I kept going the rate I was going and kept abusing my body and not living my truth, I was going to die. And if I didn't die, I was going to lead a miserable life. And by the grace of God, I'm glad I had the courage to sober up, because I know a lot of people don't, and I'm grateful for that. And I just started my road of sobriety and cleaning up my act. And one thing led to another, and I found nutrition school, because really at the end of the day, I was actually scared to get sober from drugs and alcohol because I was scared to go back to this horrible relationship with food. And this horrible relationship of with myself and my body and hating myself. And that was all linked to the fact that I couldn't control what I was eating. And I hated myself for eating foods. So I found nutrition school. That's a whole other story how I got there, but I found nutrition school and it saved my life. Nutrition school taught me about my body. It taught me about what foods feed your body. It taught me about where my food was coming from, what was on my plate, how it was contributing to my physical health and my mental health. And when I graduated from school, I realized that, it just saved my life. I was like, the world needs to know this. And I realized it wasn't just me that didn't know how to eat, but most of the world doesn't know how to eat because we never learned this properly in school. So it became my mission to help as many people as I could learn about food. And then years later, I found yoga, and yoga really taught me about more than the body, but it taught me about the power of the mind and how to calm the mind and how you have more control over your thoughts than you realize, and your thoughts will predict your future. So it kind of taught me all these kind of quantum physics type things. And then 10 years ago, I decided I didn't want to live in Toronto anymore. I decided I wanted to break up with winter. One thing led to another, and I found myself in Nicaragua and traveling the world. I was a traveling business for 6 years, teaching people how to be healthy and have healthy vacations and teaching them about nutrition and yoga. And then 4 years ago, I found a piece of land in northern Nicaragua, and I started to create my center here, which has always been a dream of mine. I now have built 5 structures here. I found a piece of land that had absolutely nothing on it. And I built everything from scratch in a country that I'd never been to before, or really like in the north. And I didn't properly speak the language. And here I am with a wellness center that has been doing really well up until the world crisis. And I'm hoping that starting next month, we can start getting flights in here, and I can continue with helping to serve people in the world. That's my story in a nutshell.
Wow. Beautiful, beautiful, Grace. Let's actually extrapolate from the story a little bit. So in terms of why raw food, why raw vegan? Why did you choose that? And in terms of that, can you also explain, is it easy to implement that in a cold climate, such as, Toronto, let's say, we have 8 months of winter and we kind of crave warm, hot food, if you will. So can you please explain to us why raw vegan as opposed to any other type of diet?
Yeah, well, for me personally, going into nutrition school, you learn about so many different kinds of diets and ways of eating, and I would try them all, of course, because you're curious, you're learning about them. And for me, at the time, having like a slower metabolism, I guess, from years of eating disorders, I found that getting back to the live foods, I don't like to use the words like raw and vegan. I feel like they can be limiting. However, I mean, I do use them on Instagram and hashtags, but it's more about live foods and foods that still have their enzymes intact, and foods that are filled with life and high vibrations, foods from nature, foods that are fresh and whole and real and clean. And when we start to implement and start to eat more of that in your diet, in our diet, we start to feel better. We're eating, you know, these high vibrational foods. Of course, it's going to affect our energy levels. Of course, it's going to affect our weight. Of course, it's going to affect our nervous system in a positive way. And how I teach eating this way is I don't tell people they have to eat entirely this way. And I think that's what a lot of people think, that I'm telling people you have to be raw, you have to be vegan. And I don't. I teach people they just need more of it in their lives. And most people who come to me and come to my wellness center have health issues. They need to transform their health and perhaps their life in some level, and they're not eating well. And they come to me to learn how to eat. And I'm teaching people how to use these foods in nature more. If people want to go full blown with it, that's fine too. Of course, they need to work with a professional to figure out how to balance it more. But I never teach people to be, that they have to be completely raw or vegan. And going to your second part of your question, it's very important that people adapt to their environment. And that's health too. And in a place like Toronto, where you have cold and you have winters, it's not ideal to be eating raw the whole time. But you can have your cooked foods and have something raw with your meal. And that's usually how I would suggest that to clients. Like, you know, have your cooked meal or have whatever you're having. And, you know, I'd like to also say that a lot of my clients are not vegan. A lot of my clients are paleo or keto. And I meet people where they're at to help their existing diet be better. So let's say my client is eating a high quality animal protein with some rice or whatever they're having. I always say, make sure you have your live food as well and have it first to help with your digestion of your denser meal, your denser food.
Phenomenal. And Grace, it's very interesting that you mentioned that in terms of vibration, everything in the world vibrates. And so what's interesting is, you know, there was a huge documentary, The Secret, based on the law of attraction, but the primary law is the law of vibration. And, you know, one of my t-shirts or one of my sayings in the book, Mind Candy, which I mentioned you, since, like I said, you're a great inspiration, you're in the book, that everything stems from the mind and everything you see is precipitated thought. So can you share with us how you visualized Gracious Living Oasis and how it became precipitated thought and you created and, you know, where you are today?
Yeah, you know, when I cleaned my life up and I became a nutritionist and then later a yoga teacher as well, and, you know, I'm involved with fitness, I'm a fitness trainer as well, it became very clear to me once I graduated from nutrition school that this is why I was put on this earth. And it became very clear to me with every single cell in my body that this is what I was supposed to do. It became very clear to me that all the pain and the suffering and the challenges that I went through were because I was supposed to overcome it and teach people how to be healthier and happier. And, you know, I lived, I would say, more of my life with anxiety and depression and self-hatred. And when I started to heal from that, you know, I never want anybody to feel that. Like it's when you can go from feeling so horrible and so miserable, and then you start to feel happier and happier, you just never want to go back to that place again. And that's what I want for me and for the world. Like I know so many people who are depressed and suicidal and miserable and have anxiety. So I knew I was supposed to do this and help in some way, in my way. And I knew eventually, after I started my career as a nutritionist, I knew I wanted to build a wellness center. And I knew when I moved away from Toronto, like that was my ultimate dream. Like I wanted to get away from the frenetic city and the chaos and the anxieties of the city and the winter. And I wanted to live in the tropics. And one day when I was still in Toronto, I realized I wasn't happy anymore. I was building my career as a nutritionist, but I wasn't happy. And I sat down and I created this list. What would be my perfect life? What would make me so happy to wake up every day? And this list was live in the sun, live in my bare feet, wear my bikini all day, go to the ocean 5 times a day, eat fresh food from the trees, help people, serve people, teach people about nutrition. So I looked at this list finally, and I'm like, okay, well, it's saying this loud and clear. I need to move to the tropics, and I need to continue teaching people about health. And logically, it was, okay, I need to build a wellness center in the tropics, and then have people come to me so I'm not lonely. And that's kind of how the vision started, and it just stayed there. Everything I did when I moved away and started traveling and being a world business, I always had this vision here. And in fact, when I first moved to Nicaragua, I had this sign on my wall. I created a sign of what was in my 1-year plan, 5-year plan, and 10-year plan. And one of those things on my plan that I was on my wall was build a wellness center. And every day when I went to bed, I read the list. Every day when I woke up, I read the list. Every time I walked by it, I read the list. So I was constantly telling myself what I was going to accomplish.
Definitely. Beautiful, beautiful, Grace. As you were sharing that with us, I got goosebumps. It's just a beautiful story. And I thank you for sharing that. And you're right. Repetition is key. I call it the mental bicep curl for the subconscious mind. And definitely everything stems from that. Can you share with us a little bit about your father's journey and how you helped heal his cancer and ultimately, perhaps the word would be reverse his Alzheimer's?
Yes. Well, I guess it was about 16 years ago now. My father was diagnosed with prostate cancer that moved to bone cancer. They gave him less than 10 months left to live. And they said that he still needed to do surgery and chemo, and that that might prolong his life a bit, but he didn't have much time. And not to get into a long story about it, but my dad had decided, he asked the doctor if there was anything he could do besides that, anything alternative to surgery and chemo to help prolong his life. And the doctor was like, absolutely not. And remember, this was 16 years ago. So, then they really didn't believe in food helping to heal the body. And, to make a long story short, my father decided not to go down the conventional route, and he found a doctor in Japan that claimed that you could heal cancer and diseases through food. And my dad started following him, and he completely changed his diet. He told the doctor he wasn't going to do chemo, completely changed his diet. I was just starting nutrition school at the time, so I didn't at the time realize the importance of food and the power that the food has on healing the body and the power of the mind as well. And my father radically changed his diet. He wasn't eating well at the time, and he radically changed his diet because he really wanted to live. And he, as I started learning about healthy foods in school, I was watching my father also eating these healthy foods. So in the beginning, he was like, I was watching my father who was studying with his Japanese doctor, and I was studying things in school, and I would come to his house and I would see him juicing and like soaking beans and eating seaweeds and, eating all these things that I was learning about in school. So it was really cool. It became this very reciprocal relationship or symbiotic relationship of teaching each other about food. And what I started watching with my dad was not only did he just suddenly adopt this healthy lifestyle, but his personality started changing, which was very bizarre to me. And I believe it was because he was starting to eat these high vibrational foods. So it was affecting his nervous system. It was affecting his perception on life. It was affecting things like his blood sugar. It was affecting how he's dealing with stress and emotions. but also he started taking up meditation, and he started studying A Course of Miracles, and he started really studying himself and what he was holding in his body that was causing dis-ease, and where he needed to forgive, and where he needed to release and let go, and where he needed to surrender, and where he needed to love himself more and perhaps love others more. And I thought I wasn't into yoga at the time, and I thought it was all like weird stuff that he was doing, but I just let him be. But what I've realized over the years is how powerful the mind is. And in fact, my dad used to say at that time, like if we were talking about the cancer or whatever, he would tell me, don't say cancer around me. I don't have cancer. And he would say, don't even say the C word anymore. So I wasn't even allowed to say that to him. And I watched my dad's personality go from this like depressed and angry man that I knew my whole life to a happy man, and a man that was laughing more, and he was present with me, and you know, he was looking me in the eyes and truly absorbing and listening to me. And that was really phenomenal. And that's what I teach now more than anything. Yes, nutrition is good. Yes, yoga is good. Yes, a healthy lifestyle is good. But more than anything, your mind is what's going to affect you in the end. And we need to pay more attention to what we're holding on to in our mind and ultimately our heart. Because no matter how healthy you eat, if you're still not open on some level in your heart and your mind, that is not truly optimal health. It has to go hand in hand.
It's so interesting, Grace, because you're right. You know, when the gyms used to be open before the P started, and I'm all about delicious words, so I don't, you know what I mean by the P, I don't want to say the word, but the current world situation. So in my dictionary, I use delicious words, and actually that's the title of one of my books. So it's funny, your father was into that, or is into that, which is highly intelligent and intuitive of him. So he wouldn't impress that upon his subconscious mind. What's interesting that you mentioned, Grace, is that, you know, when I would observe people at the gym, they would work out, eat healthy, but they were still miserable. And that's just an observation, not a judgment. And it's because perhaps there's a tape recorder in their mind, the 80,000 thoughts we think of every day. Unfortunately, most are negative. So you really want to be present and focus on what you're thinking, and immediately replace it with a positive, or journal, which creates neuroplasticity. So what I want to do is expand on that. Can you tell us a little bit about how to, how to do that in your opinion?
Well, and that's why I was saying I would like to say something, but that's exactly what I want to talk about. No,
please interrupt me anytime.
So I think at the end of the day, and like what I practice and what I encourage and coach my clients to is like, what are we motivated by? Are we motivated by love or by fear? We want to do things. We want to eat healthy. And I think that was a big part of my dad's recovery, is that he wasn't eating well because he was scared to die. He was eating well because he wanted to learn how to love himself, and he wanted to live life in a different way. And he realized what was happening up until then. He wasn't living life in a loving way to himself. And, you know, one of my mentors always says that cancer isn't something to be scared. Cancer is a divine tap on the shoulder to change your life. And I truly believe that. And what I believe is cancer is a state of being. It's just a time, it's a crossroads in your life to change and to take a step back and look at what is working for you and what's not working for you. So my dad decided like he really needed to look at energetically what was causing him to be sick, and also his food. And he started to do it from this place of love, because he wanted to learn how to love himself and nurture himself. And over the years, I've worked with many clients who have cancer, and they're eating well, and they're doing every single thing I'm telling them, but they're doing it from a place of fear. They're still not looking at mentally and emotionally what is causing maybe inflammation in their body or causing sickness in the body. So yeah, it's really like people need to have the courage to really look at themselves. And at the end of the day, it's not, again, about health, healthy lifestyle or the nutrition or the yoga or the working out or whatever. It's about how can we love ourselves more? How can we come back to wholeness more? And I think that we learn a lot of things, and a lot of our negative behaviors and negative thoughts, that all comes from childhood. A lot of that is not even our thoughts. It's stuff that was pushed onto us by our, our family. And not to say that our parents are wrong, but it's brought on from their parents. And I think as conscious adults and mindful adults and adults that really want to grow and learn and, go towards this path of enlightenment, we need to have the courage to look back to our childhood and be like, what was pushed and ingrained in me that doesn't serve me anymore? A lot of that we still hold on to, and we live our lives that way, but there comes a point where we have to be like, are these thoughts in my head, these negative thoughts in my head, are they really mine? Or was this something my mother always told me or my father always told me? So,
or society.
Or society.
Or a school teacher.
Back layers, yeah, and really introspect on that. And when we start to be more mindful and aware, then we can release it. It's not like, I think people think that when you're positive all the time, or you're living in a more high vibrational way, it's not that I don't have negative thoughts or someone doesn't have them. We all have them. It's part of being human. But it's about recognizing them and not attaching to them, and then letting them go, or substituting them with something that's more real. Because a lot of negative thoughts are not even real. They're, illusions or anxieties that haven't even come true yet. So I think it's being able to slow down and observe our thought patterns and be aware of it. Mm-hmm. And this is hard, of course, but it takes work. That's why I'm a big fan of meditating. Because you're able to you can sit in stillness and start to be able to observe your thoughts. Or mm-hmm. even journaling helps too, So through the observation, then we can start to change things. And then we can catch things quicker. Yes, I might, I'll have negative thoughts today, but I can see it, recognize it, let it go, and substitute it with something that's more real.
Amazing. So there's a few things I want to ask you there, Grace. And one of them is I practice transcendental meditation. So I focus on a mantra, which is like you give your mind a little biscuit, as Russell Brand says. I like that analogy. You give your mind a biscuit, which is like a sound, not a word. So you don't associate it to anything. And like Om or what have you. I explained this to my Italian mom, and she got it. So she uses Italian words. Hi, Mom, and all that. What's cool is that let's talk a little bit about self-love. What is that in your opinion? And then let's talk about meditation. A lot of people say, well, I can't meditate. I can't sit still. And that's the ego wanting them to stay in that familiar place. So if you can expand on that, Grace, that'd be awesome.
So self-love to me is learning how to respect yourself, respecting and honoring yourself, loving yourself in this moment right now and today. I mean, I feel like I was just having this conversation yesterday with a doctor that so many people tell themselves like, oh, I'll love myself when I lose 5 pounds, or I'll love myself when I lose 10 pounds, or I'll love myself, when I get a boyfriend, or whatever it is. So it's learning to love yourself right now today. Self-love to me is having compassion for yourself. Self-love to me is forgiving yourself. We hold so much discontentment towards ourselves for mistakes we made. And, we're always doing the best that we can. And I think that to truly be able to embrace ourselves, we just need to forgive ourselves for things we've done in the past. And that's a hard one for people. But the more we can be gentle with ourselves, we can truly embrace who we are. I think it's just really important to remind ourselves that we do the best we can all the time. Even if we made a mistake, that's the best we could have done in that moment. And we need to move on. And so much of depression, comes from just hanging on to the past. And it slows us down, it depresses us. So we need to release the past to continue to move forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's interesting, Grace, because we're doing the best we can at that level of awareness, and we're constantly evolving and growing. And like you, Grace, you're living proof. There were benefits. It wasn't a bad thing what you went through in terms of the drug addiction and all, and and the eating disorders and what have you, that was actually the stepping stone to where you are today. So it's a beautiful thing. It's all perception. Perception is people's reality. So it's whatever you label it. So nothing is truly good or bad. Again, we were conditioned that way. And go ahead.
And a big part of what I try to teach as well as being, and which is self-love, which I just talked about, is being grateful. Like being grateful right now in this moment, and having and expressing gratitude does put you in the present moment. And I truly wouldn't be grateful for my life right now if I hadn't forgiven my past. Like I don't regret my past because I'm so happy now. You know, I mean, life's not perfect. There's stuff that happens, but I am happy where I am, and I'm so happy to have overcome things. And I wouldn't be where I am right now had it not been for my past. So that's how I feel. So, and I wouldn't have this, you know, this such passion for helping people overcome their pain if I hadn't been through that pain myself. So I think that's a really important part of healing, you know. And for so long, as a, you know, a teenager and a young adult, I had so much anger towards my abuser, so much anger towards myself, so much anger towards the world for having gone through that. And that's how I've evolved into my life now, is that I don't have that anger anymore. I had to forgive my abuser. I had to forgive, you know, my father for abandoning me at the time. I had to forgive myself for all the things that I did and the eating disorders I had. And for me to get there, for me to be able to forgive, now I'm, you know, I'm happy. I had to let that go. And that's a big thing because that's hard for people, and it's not easy. It's something that I had to chip away at, you know, and, but it eventually comes. And, that's something that I try to give people hope for. Like eventually forgiveness comes, but you have to work on it all the time.
Mm-hmm. So beautiful. Grace, tell us, in terms of the highest frequency, in terms of vibration, the highest frequency we know is love, gratitude, and joy. And I'm very grateful and joyous actually at this moment to be having this conversation with you. Can you tell us a couple of pivotal moments that in your journey that took you to that next level? What was that one moment where you thought, my goodness, I can't do this anymore? Just to inspire our viewers and understand that, hey, Grace Van Berkum did it, so can I.
Let's see. I mean, I guess when I was going through my party phase and I was doing a lot of drugs and, you know, I wasn't sleeping anymore, and it was just, you know, it wasn't a once in a while thing. It was a crazy time in my life. Like I told you in the beginning, there came a point where I looked in the mirror one day and I didn't recognize myself anymore. And for me, I realized, is this what I have to look forward in my life? Like if I don't switch gears now, my life will be wasted. And I know I'm capable of much more. So that was a pivotal time for me where I switched gears. And then, you know, I realized I had to like surrender. I think that's a big part, is if you don't surrender to the possibility of living life in a different way, or if you don't surrender to, I don't want to say God necessarily, because I'm not religious, but it was almost like I did surrender to God, which is the divine. And at that time I said, please help me. I don't want to live this way. Please show me a new way. Like I am open. It's about being open to receive. And when we hang on and we're constricted and we still think, you know, we're scared and we put up our invisible walls, we're not open to receiving the gift from the universe and, you know, what we truly need to learn. So in these times where I was at my lowest, I really truly surrendered and said, God, please show me something else, because I don't know where else to go. And that's amazingly where these opportunities start presenting themselves to you, when you are completely open to something else and something new. Mm-hmm. And that's happened quite a few times for me throughout my life, where I prayed, and again, I said I'm not religious, but I became open to what the universe has in store for me. And then you have to trust the journey, you know, and at something I've learned along in my path is if you don't trust, there's resistance. You have to trust that there's always a plan for you, and the universe has your back, and the universe supports you, and the universe wants you to do well. The universe wants you to succeed. The universe wants you to feel love and be love and give love and receive love. But we have to be open to it.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful, beautiful. And, I'm not into organized religion either, but I pray and believe in God as well. There's definitely a higher power, and the universe does have our back. So Grace, let's share with our viewers the journey of having, coming there for a retreat, a Gracious Living Oasis or GLO SelfCare retreat. Share with us what we would expect.
Yeah, so most people come here for a week for like a healthy vacation, but I have many people coming here, for a month, 2 months, 3 months. So a lot more people now in Toronto, especially, or like cold places, are saying, I don't want to do winter anymore either. So they come here for longer. I am a wellness center, but I like to call myself a self-care center because not only are you going to have this experience of what it's like to care and love your body, or love for your body, by eating well and doing yoga and meditation and fitness and being in nature and connecting to like-minded individuals, improving your sleep. Not only are we going to do all these things, but I'm going to teach you how to do it. So I have a level 1 to level 7 cell health program that I call it. Level 1 is like beginner level, like intro into plant-based eating. Everything I do here is plant-based. And like I was saying in the beginning, I don't necessarily teach people you have to eat entirely plant-based all the time, and many of my clients don't. But I do feel that when somebody needs to recalibrate or transform or cleanse or heal quickly, going completely plant-based will get you very rapid results. And that's what I do here. So we clean out your diet here. We try to decrease inflammation as quickly as possible, taking out refined sugars, gluten, soy, wheat, animal products. Everything here is made from scratch, fresh, all local foods in nature, healing foods. And then I use superfoods and adaptogens that I bring in as well. Level 1 is like beginner level. As we move up the levels, we get into more live foods, more raw foods, vegan, ketogenic, and then level 7 is just liquids. So I get lots of repeat clients, a lot of people who have been here, 3, 4, 5, 6 times already in 4 years, not even 3.5 years. Basically, I customize and design the retreat based on the individual or the week that it's happening. So my focus here is healing and resetting the nervous system, getting people to slow down. Most people who come here are very stressed out, and they're looking for a place to slow down and heal. A lot of people come here with hormonal issues, adrenal issues, diseases, or some sort of health issue. So for me, it's when people come here with an issue that's going on, or high anxiety or stress issue or disease, I'm not going to push them into fitness all week. That's not the plan. I want people to come here and, chill out, slow down, reconnect to themselves, and also reconnect to nature. So that's why I focus a lot on yoga and healing yoga and meditation and breathing exercises and sleep. We go to bed early here, and we wake up early-ish. Some people, will tell me that, like most people tell me that they're not sleeping well anymore and they're going to bed too late. So sleep's a big thing here. And basically, it's just looking at all the things that in people's lives and teaching them how they can start to raise their vibrations, like through the food, through the sleep, through moving their body, through practicing gratitude. We do breathing exercises before every single meal. We slow down and eat together as a community, which a lot of people don't do anymore and don't realize this is directly related to their digestion. There's no cell phones allowed at the table. There's no Wi-Fi in the guest rooms because most people are on their phones before bed. So basically, people are coming here to heal, transform, raise their vibrations. And the beauty of all this, at the end of it, is that a lot of people come here by themselves. And they don't expect that they're going to make these amazing friendships here. But all the people are here that come are here for the same reason. They're trying to improve their lives, their health. They're trying to be happier. They're looking for more answers in their life. So all the people, it's real people here, and honest conversations, authentic conversations. It's not, there's nothing fake about being here. Like, it's just, you know, we're talking about life and how to be better in life. And we're talking about love and real conversations. And by the end of this week or month or however long people come here, they've made these quality relationships that they are so grateful for. You know, these are real authentic relationships and friendships that happen here. And plus I have tons of great teachers that come here to teach, and wellness people that come. So yeah, it's, I'm trying to create a place, a safe and supportive place for people to just reconnect to themselves, really.
Amazing, amazing. And I was supposed to join in April, but due to the current world situation, wasn't able to, but I'll be there soon, Grace. And I wanted to thank you for being truly genuine and congruent. One of my favorite words is congruent with what you practice and preach and offer and serve the world. It's amazing because, you know, I see out there again on observation, there's some health professionals that may say, you know, do this and that, but then they binge drink or do something else behind closed doors or what have you. So I thank you for being congruent with your mission and actually living what you teach. So thank you for that. Now let's talk about the world situation and how we can understand that, yes, the media is owned and controlled by a few families, and they want us to operate on fear because fear lowers the immune system, raises cortisol. Cortisol is the fight or flight hormone that causes inflammation or aging from within. So let's talk about the truth and you know, it's and how we can strengthen our immune and stay on that high vibration of not operating from fear but from love.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in the world, as you know. I think it's really important that people truly educate themselves and become aware of what is happening. And, you know, there's so many different things being thrown at us of what is real, what is not real, you know, and what I'm seeing, and I know you're seeing, and the world is seeing, there's a divide, you know, like, you know, we're divided and fighting. And I think it's really important for people to not take things at face value, and definitely do not follow the mainstream media. There's a lot of that is lies, and a lot of it has been bought and paid for, let's say, big pharma or the people that want this to go in a certain direction. So do your own research, and I mean, know, if you know in your intuition, in your gut, that something is wrong, then something probably is wrong. So do your research, and then from there, it's, you know, don't stay stuck in fear. And I know it's hard, and I know the possibilities of scenarios can be scary. I think it's important to know what could be coming, but also to take action and move and transfer that energy. Otherwise, you stay stuck. So part of taking action is taking care of your own health and taking care of your fear levels and taking care of your immune system. So again, it comes back to, how can we move this stagnant energy? How can we move this fearful energy? You can do so physically. Move your body, you know, walk, exercise, run, do yoga, lift some weights, whatever it is, go swimming. Move your body physically, and that will start to shift your energy. What are you putting into your body? You know, I have a big issue with what's being put out in the news in the world right now, that we are being told that we can't really do anything to our immune system or to help protect our immune systems in this time. And that's what kind of brought me down this rabbit hole of research, because as a holistic nutritionist, I know that you can improve your health. I know you can heal things like cancer. I know you can reverse Alzheimer's. You know, if we can do these on a bigger scale, I know you can protect your immune system and protect yourself from viruses. I personally haven't gotten sick in 7, 8, 9 years. I don't even know at this point. Like, I don't get sick because I take such good care of myself. I know it is possible. And that's why I'm not frightened by what's happening, because it just doesn't make sense to me. But anyways, I have a big issue that people aren't talking. You know, our supposed doctors out there are not properly talking about vitamins and minerals and adaptogens and all these things that are going to help us. And that's what started me on my path of digging deeper. And then one thing led to another. And, you know, as they say, follow the money. Who stands to profit from all this? But we won't get into that. What I would like to say, though, is, you know, what you put into your mouth will protect you. What you drink will protect you or not protect you. So we have to start being more cognizant of how we're taking care of our bodies. That's going to help take care of our minds as well. And we have to start, you know, we need to align ourselves with more positive things. We need to stop looking at our phone first thing in the morning. We need to stop looking at mainstream news. We need to start taking ourselves out of the drama on social media. You know, we need to align more with positive things, positive books, podcasts, people, whatever it is. And we need to improve our digestion, because our digestion is directly correlated to our immune system. Our digestion is directly correlated to our serotonin levels, which is our mind. So eating foods that are not causing inflammation, taking out the things that are causing inflammation, you know, the simple things like, well, it's not as simple to take it out, but like the main things like refined sugars, gluten, chemicals, POPs, you know, that's to start. And then introducing more vitamin and mineral rich foods, and introducing, you know, more chlorophyll, more live foods, more fermented foods. I mean, that's a little bit more intermediate, but introducing more fiber, introducing good fats. All these things are going to help our digestion work better so that we function better and our immune systems are stronger.
Amazing. True. Very true, Grace. Let's talk about the fact that, you know, can we talk about, because it actually bothers me when I see people cycling with masks on and so forth. And we know that oxygen is something important for the brain and for everything we just touched upon. And, you know, I have a science background as well. So I would like you to share, though, what is it with the mask? What is the truth behind the mask? Because from what I understand, the mask cannot protect you from a virus.
Yes, that's the current debate right now, isn't it? Well, I would like to say that just right on the CDC website, it actually says do not wear a mask while exercising. So it's amazing that, you know, the CDC and even the WHO can say things that people are not listening to anymore. And there's just, you know, we're in a very confusing time of all this information, which people don't know what to believe anymore. But, you know, so many people already have so much fear in them already from the beginning that they can't even open up their minds to new information or evolving information.
And do you know why, if I may interrupt you, Grace, fear closes the rational part of the brain. I'm not a neuroscientist, but I am a geek at heart, and I can back this up with the science. And that's a very easy tactic that others have used in the past. I won't mention their names. Other leaders, you know, in Eastern Europe have used in the past to close that frontal lobe and make irrational decisions. But I'll let you continue. So yes, fear.
Yeah, I mean, without getting too much into it, I mean, I mean, there's a lot of science out there saying that the mask is actually going to make you sicker in the end. Like, I mean, it's very logical to me. We need to breathe, you know, and even from a cancer perspective, cancer is linked to low oxygen levels in the body. So even from that perspective alone, like, we need to breathe. And I get it. A lot of people who are immunocompromised or not feeling well, then wear the mask. Like, I think that, you know, wear the mask if that makes you feel better, if that causes you less anxiety. But to tell the whole world that we all have to wear masks, even if we are not sick, I mean, it hasn't even been proven that asymptomatic carriers are spreading this. You know, the WHO has come out and said that it doesn't. So I'm not a scientist, but there's lots of science out there saying that consistent use of the mask, especially if we're not sick, and even if we are sick, is going to make us sicker, you know? So I just encourage people to please be open and start looking at more science. But it doesn't matter how much, what I'm seeing right now on social media, let's say, it doesn't matter how much science is there, people just don't want to hear it. But I would like to say that I did see right on the CDC website that they are even saying do not wear a mask exercising, which is crazy. I mean, to see people wearing masks in cars, you know, or they're like putting out articles saying wear masks when you're having sex. Oh my God. Like, I mean, this is almost becoming comical, but it's not comical, but it's just like, it's mind blowing what's being put out there. So, people want to wear masks, wear it. But I mean, I think it's also ridiculous that they're like, I'm seeing masks on babies. Like, this is ludicrous, absolutely ludicrous. So I think what's happening though is people aren't understanding really what a virus is. People don't understand the immune system, and what's been instilled in us is it's us against the virus. You know, we need to stay in our homes and wear this and protect ourselves from the virus. And people don't realize that viruses have been around for our, you know, our whole lives, and viruses actually aren't alive, you know, and the more that we can protect our bodies and our immune systems, we're protecting ourselves from a virus. And I mean, look at all the data coming out that this virus, like the flu, is more deadly than this virus. So there's, you know, there's tons of data and science coming there. And as you know, I mean, doctors and scientists are speaking up every day, more and more and more. So, you know, I just encourage people to be open and look at the emerging data. Like this is evolving and emerging because this has just happened. So don't stay stuck in the past, which is a form of depression. Like, stay open to new information that's evolving, and stay open to people speaking up about the falsities and the crimes that are happening as well, that, you know.
Totally true. And you know, it's interesting, Grace, because we know that a virus needs a mucous membrane to live. So everybody, you don't need to clean your plastic bags because, or any of that. Remember, your gut knows, your conscious knows if something is off and something doesn't make sense. So please don't be lazy. Take a little effort in your life and in your family's life and friends, and do the research. And like Grace said, live in the present moment. If you live in the past, you're depressed. If you live in the future, you're anxious. All we have is the present. And just keep your immune system up. Drink lots of good quality water, good food, and protect or balance your microbiome. Let's talk a little bit about the microbiome, Grace, and adaptogens. Can you explain to us what is an adaptogen and how do we keep our microbiome healthy and in check, which is our gut health?
I mean, basically, I mean, an adaptogen helps our body deal with stress and helps the body to rebalance. So adaptogens are going to keep your immune system strong and help to lower your anxiety levels. So for me, my favorite adaptogens that I like to recommend are ashwagandha, holy basil, ginseng, rhodiola. My top two that I love and I recommend to people are taking holy basil and ashwagandha. And I like to add them to smoothies. I make like homemade protein bars. You can also take tinctures, which I like, and just carry it in your purse and take it, you know, under your tongue as needed. And then, you know, your gut health is really important here. And Zach Bush, one of my mentors, Dr. Zach Bush, he talks about it a lot. But your immune system is very much dependent on how well your digestion is functioning, and also your mental health and your serotonin levels are related to your digestion. So it's really important that we are paying attention to our digestion and our gut health. It's really important that we are eliminating toxins daily, if not twice daily. And by that, I mean going to the bathroom. Like for me, having a wellness center here, it's amazing to me how many people don't go to the bathroom regularly. And that's like, you know, that's key. You need to release and go regularly. And I know it seems funny to people, but this is a very serious issue. So when you get your digestion in order and intact, then you start to be able to release toxins regularly. You need to drink more water. Most people I see are dehydrated. They're not drinking enough water. Plus they're eating and drinking things that are dehydrating them. We need to eat, you know, more fiber-rich foods that are high in your prebiotics that are going to help with feeding your gut flora. You know, eating more fermented foods. It's so easy to make your own sauerkraut, which is very high in your good bacteria. So we need to look at like what we're eating in our diet that's causing our digestion to suffer. And then we also need to look at what can we add in there to help our digestion work better.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. So Grace, tell us, how can we join or enroll ourselves for a Gracious Living Oasis retreat? Where do we go? Website info, please.
Yeah, my website is graciouslivingoasis.com. I also have my personal website, gracevanberkum.com. That's my name, and they both link together. Currently, right now, since March, actually, there's no flights coming in here. So I'm open, but I have no guests. I haven't had any guests since March, and I'm so ready for guests. Mm-hmm. The rumor in the country is that flights will be open again on August 1st. So I am ready for everyone. Please come visit. Please come hang out. I really want to focus on building a community here as well. So many people have written me, like literally hundreds, have said to me, I don't want to live in North America anymore. I don't want to live in Europe anymore because of everything that's happening. Can I come live there? And I just want to say there's lots of land for sale here. I want, you know, to build a positive, high vibrational community here. I want people, you know, to feel safe here and come here and recalibrate. I'll teach you how to boost your immune system, how to live with more love and joy, how to reconnect to you. And something that I've offered and I did put out on social media is for the rest of the year, for the rest of 2020, as my way to serve and help the world, all my retreats are 50% off, like 50, because I just want people to come here and I just want to help people. So just message me anytime, and hopefully August we're open. Come on down, come live with me.
Nice. That sounds awesome, Grace. And can anyone book a one-on-one consultation with you for nutrition and what have you? Can they do that?
Normally when I'm open here, I'm too busy. But what has happened now with me having no guests here and not you know, doing any retreats is I'm offering online consultations. I'm full. I have a waiting list currently because I do 4-week online coaching programs just because I feel that helps work better with people where they can report to me, and we have email conversations and Skype conversations once a week. So I do have some openings coming up at the end of next week. And yeah, it works really well where I give people 3 to 5 goals to work on every week, and we build a program and customize a program for an individual so that they feel better. And yeah, next week.
Phenomenal. And, you know, to all our viewers, I'm a big fan of Grace's retreats. I haven't attended one yet, but I will as soon as we're able to fly out of this country. And what I'd like to offer the viewers is the opportunity to join me. The first 3 emails that I receive at Felicia@FeliciaPizzonia.com, I will be offering a special gift, which is I will pitch in and pay 20% of your fee towards the retreat. So you can hear on the HEARTCORE Hustle, that's my gift. And my way to serve as well as one of my highest values is health and nutrition and fitness. So that's what I'm offering the first 3 emails that I received. Felicia@FeliciaPizzonia.com, and I will do that to contribute, and hopefully you'll be able to leave your country as well. I happen to be in Canada right now, and we'll eventually be opening up the borders. They say I'm not attached to the outcome, and I'll figure out another way. If I need to swim there, I will, Grace.
Okay, wow, that's so nice.
Yes, and Grace, tell us before we conclude, what message would you like to leave with our viewers and listeners in terms of what they can do to start today their journey on their journey of wellness and changing their life?
I think that the main message that I like to tell people all the time, and I'm really seeing that people need to hear in these times, is that you have more power than you realize. You have more power over your health than you even realize. You have more power over the trajectory of your life and your future than you realize. Create your health. Create your future. You have that power. Don't just sit back and let life happen to you. And I think people really, I mean, that's my main message with the world events right now, is like people are just sitting back thinking, you know, and not doing anything. Do something about your health. Create your health, and you can do it. Like people need to realize that they can accomplish anything and everything is possible. And that's one thing that the main message that I like to share with people from what I've overcome in my life. I've realized that, you know, self-love is possible. Creating the life of your dreams is possible. Building something in the middle of nature is possible. Whatever you want is possible. You just have to believe it and work towards it.
Wow, so beautiful. You're an incredible inspiration, Grace, incredible soul, beautiful inside and out. And honestly, we truly thank you for being on the HEARTCORE Hustle. I thank you. And I know this has been an awesome conversation. So check out graciouslivingoasis.com. Is that correct, Grace? Or okay. And gracevanberkum.com. And thank you again, Grace. Really, it's been awesome. Thank you for joining the HEARTCORE Hustle.
Thank you, Felicia. Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. And thank you, everyone. So check out FeliciaPizzonia.com. Did you want to say one more thing, Grace?
Yeah, I better see you in Nicaragua soon.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Like I said, I'm going to swim there. I don't know if I'll make it, but some way, somehow I will. I'm very determined. So thank you, everyone, for joining us this morning. And we hope that you implement and change your life, and check out the next episode of the HEARTCORE Hustle.
Thank you. Bye.